Hi everybody, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Cindy Jameson, and tonight I'm going to be showing you a side dish that your kids will surely love, and you may be surprised if they ask you for seconds. Now if your kids are like mine, they're a little hit and miss with vegetables. On the one hand, they love broccoli, which most children refuse to eat. Such a hard time trying to convince them that they need to eat the whole bean, not just the little itty-bitty pea that's inside. So tonight I'm going to be making some bacon ranch green beans starring Philadelphia cream cheese. Basically be making some sort of, I want to say, ranch-inspired sauce to go with it. It's one of my children's favorite salad dressings. So I thought, why not try it with some green beans, add some bacon in there. So if you're ready, let's get cooking. So what I want to do first is take 4 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese, and I'm just going to smash it all up to get it going before I start adding anything else in here. So I have the cream cheese all smushed up a little bit, and to that I'm going to be adding about half a teaspoon of fresh chives and the same amount of fresh dill. Alright, we'll just throw that in. And now I usually use onion powder, but I'm out of onion powder, and somebody, I won't say who, forgot to write it on the little sticky pad on the fridge. So I'm just going to finely grate an onion using my microplane. If you're using onion like this, you probably just want 1/4 to a half teaspoon, not very much. Don't want it too oniony, but we still want that flavor in there. About that much would be good. And to that, I'm also going to add a little tiny bit of lemon zest, just to brighten up the flavors a little bit. And then, I'm just going to guess here, we'll go with half a teaspoon. I'm using garlic salt today. But feel free to use garlic powder, but if you do, add a pinch of salt. A few cracks of fresh cracked pepper, and about half a teaspoon of dried parsley. Oh, I was just making one of those silly faces that I make when I cook. My husband warned me not to do those on camera, and I think I just did. So, yeah, just ignore that. So I'm just going to mix this all up together until it's nice and smooth. So that's all mixed up, and we'll just let that sit here and get all cozy and start mingling with the cream cheese, and all the flavors will just combine together and get all nice and comfy. It'll be great. So what I have here is 3 strips of bacon that I've cut into, I'd say, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch pieces, slices. And I'm just going to add that to a skillet that's been preheating. Obviously it hasn't been preheating that long because there's nothing happening, none of that nice sizzle I like to hear. There we go, now it's starting to go. So we'll get that all in here, and we'll get it all browned up. And I'll see you again in a few minutes. So our bacon's all nice and browned now. So I'm just going to take it out of the pan using a slotted spoon. Was I making that face again? Seriously, my husband was like, you know, you make pretty weird faces when you cook, so you should try and pay attention and not do those on camera. But I just forget you guys are here, so anyway, to the pan now, I'm going to be adding about 2 or 3 cups of frozen green beans. Now this is just for me and the kids tonight, so I'm not making a big portion. Feel free to double it. I'm also using frozen green beans because the fresh green beans at the grocery store were just horrendous, so I didn't even want to bother trying to pick through all of those. So there I go. Green bean overboard. So basically what I want to do with this is just thaw the beans and heat them through. I don't want any caramelization or anything like that. I just want the beans nice and tender and hot. Some of you may have read on my profile that I married a chef. My husband and I met about 11 years ago in a little restaurant in Brantford, Ontario. He was the head chef. I was the new waitress. We fell in love. He asked me to marry him, and I said yes, thinking I was getting a really good deal here. I mean, this man was going to cook for me every night, in my mind anyways. But I soon found out that that was not the case. After being at work all day and around food all day, the last thing he wanted to do was to come home and start working in the kitchen again. So the cooking responsibilities were delegated to me, and it was quite intimidating at first since I grew up as a French-Canadian girl. So, you know, the extent of our spices was the cinnamon, cloves, and allspice that we would put in the tourtière every year for Christmas. So, you know, cooking for a chef when your go-to spices are salt and pepper, intimidating. But thanks to watching the Food Network, watching my husband cook, I've learned quite a few things, and he hasn't complained yet in 11 years, so I hope I'm doing something right. So I'm just going to let these cook until they're nice and tender and warm through, and I'll be back. So the beans are nice and thawed out and warm through. Getting all happy in that bacon grease. I forgot to mention, do not drain the bacon fat out of your skillet. You want to use that to coat those nice green beans. Give it a wonderful smoky flavor. I'm just adding some ground pepper. And now it's time to introduce our green beans to our cream cheese mixture that's been getting friendly with our herbs and our lemon and our garlic. We'll just let that melt in there. Everything looks just about mixed in. So we'll transfer it to our serving dish. Oh, it's so creamy. And then we'll take our reserved bacon and just sprinkle it on top. And there they are.